Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book. And the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
All right. How is everybody doing out there today? I am your host, Elder Rawchaa, and it's Tuesday night, and you are tuned into G.O.C.C. Media. How is everybody doing out there today? Let me take a look at the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you come in. All right. Shalom. And I'm only going to be on for a short amount of time. Yes, we did come on a little earlier today. I was actually due to come on at 5:30, but we had some things, some technical, not difficulties, but some things that we were working on behind the scenes, me and AC. So, I wanted to get those fixed. Took me a few minutes to get those fixed, but we are here nonetheless. Happy to be here. I know you hear the thunder outside. You know what I mean? That this weather is what we will be talking about today. Going into a few things about, I have another show next week I want to talk about, but I say, you know what, today I want to talk about the weather because this is the topic at hand right now. People are calling me, checking on us, making sure we're good. We are actually good in this area. That Guadalupe River is actually more towards West Texas and San Antonio, Texas there. So I pray that all of the families, whether I know them or not, are safe. You know what I mean? There, especially everybody not church. But as far as we know, everybody not church, they're good. So but we're going to go into that definitely tonight because there's some interesting things. There's some interesting things going on in that situation there. And I'm not going to stamp anything yet because there's still news coming out little by little. And like the Bible says, or the scripture says, I don't know if it's in Sirach, but better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. Some interesting things going on there. Some interesting things going on in Japan and other parts of the world as well. And really for me, a lot of this, guys, really is a copycat version of the warfare that our God Himself used against the nations when they would come to war against us. So, what you're seeing a lot of times, the devil is using what we used against the people, the nations who worshiped Him. Almost like they're trying to get us back, in a sense. But they can't. They can't do anything to the chosen. They can't do anything to the chosen, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So, not too much worried about that. I mean, we're worried about, we're not concerned about death. Obviously, we're trying to endure to the end, stay healthy, and make it through. Duh. But our life is not our own. We're trying to save the lives of others because Christ died for our sins. Now, don't forget, we are in the end of the world of Esau. the end of Esau's world, meaning the end of the Roman Empire, the end of Babylon. So you will see thousands upon thousands falling. You will see it. It's not as if the world is going to end and it's just going to operate the same way that we see it. No, we are living actually in, and have already been living in, Matthew 24 for a few years now. But we are like, and you know, in those those heavy stages of it, I would say. Okay, we're in some very important times where, you know, you're seeing nation rise against nation, Esau against Jacob. Okay, that is on the main level of Esau and Jacob. It's also on the level of, you understand, this world domination plan of countries coming against one another. All of these things are going, you understand, when it comes to immigration, warfare, economic warfare, all of these things are happening right now. Wars and rumors of wars. Earthquakes in diverse places have been going on for a while now. Like it says in 3rd Baruch. A lot of these things are and have been happening for a while now. But as we get closer to the end, like a woman having a baby in travail, you know, these things just get closer. But it's nothing for you to worry about. And I'm going to say this. You have to see, when it comes to war, if you are in a war, I'm going to tell you, Israelites, in a sense of the Bible, God calls us an army, his battle axe, his weapons of war. Now, but he says that in the scriptures. This is not what we're saying. We're saying what the scripture says, but we are to fight that spiritually. Everyone in the world is already fighting physically. So no one, it's very easy to fight physically. It's very easy to yell and you know, become a crash dummy and you know, feel tough. Everyone's already doing that. People are shooting, killing each other all day, every day. No one's fighting that inner battle though. That battle to save God's chosen and humanity that follows that. And the world, the creatures, the creation. No one's fighting that battle. So that's what we're called to do. Okay? That's what we're called to do. So I just want to give a few announcements before we go in. And give a good shalom to everyone. I was supposed to actually be out there running a mile, and I'm not talking about right now, but hopefully after this I can go run me a mile, you know, in the rain, but not in the rain, but you know, hopefully it slows down a little bit. We'll see. And then my wife's probably like, no. But trying to stay healthy, trying to stay disciplined. But I'm going to say this. I want you guys to pay attention. Let me get back on subject to, when you're in war, if you see the same thing happening, you have to adjust yourself. Okay? A wise man sees something coming afar and he has to prepare the best that he can. If you see the cities or your city or your particular place constantly getting driven down to the ground with the same things. For example, if it's flooding in your area all the time, if you can afford it, I would move out of that area. You got to use some sense and wisdom here if you can. The inner cities, a lot of times, if you see like flooding, for example, in Houston. I live about an hour, almost an hour from Houston. I am in Houston, but meaning I'm in Houston, Texas, but there's little cities on the outside and the outskirts. So I'm about an hour from that. And I knew when I came back what Christ said in Matthew 24 to stay on the outskirts. So I was staying in the HOA. Nothing wrong with that. But personally, I didn't want people coming, watching me coming in and out with my goods. I got children. I just don't like the feeling of that. I personally just don't like neighbors that's too close. We all gonna have neighbors in a sense, but when they just watching every little thing, like, hey, he got the food, he's stacking the food, he's coming in with a new screen TV, I already knew when I came back, this is temporary. You know what I mean? I'm renting this house. I'm gonna have to get me some land because everyone will know what I'm coming in with in my garage. So, and what I'm storing, and they'll be like, if there's a purge, they're trying to come to my crib. He got all those beautiful girls over there. He got, he got that food. He's always bringing in, stacking water. No. So I had to have a zone where I couldn't be in that type of place. So, and I knew that if I'm in the middle of any city, if you are in the middle of any city, that's where most of the flooding is going to happen. That's where most of, if the military wants to put a cage around, you have to think like, hey, I probably within the next few years, starting now, transitioning, need to think about my situation, because they are not letting up with a lot of these things. A lot of these things, they have not been letting up with. Okay? The inner cities in 70 AD is where our people were encamped in. So Christ told us to flee into the outskirts, mountains, you know what I mean? Outer parts of the city. The city is where people have no clue of what's going on. They're depending on everything the government has to deal with. You know what I mean? The people who's living in the country, they know how to survive. So you just have to think about these things with your family. And I know sisters like, well, Elder, what am I supposed to do? Listen, don't panic. You can only do, I'm talking about for the people who can do something. If you can't, you can't. You just pray to the Most High, and you're going to be safe anyway. I'm just saying, for convenience, for a little comfort, that's what I'm saying it for, right? But if we see the things happening out there, we always blow the trumpet to our people and make sure our people are safe anyway. But this is just, it would just be less work for the saints if we could do so. Like I tell people, if you are renting a house in the city, hey, think about renting one on the outside of the city. If you're renting an apartment, think about doing it on the outside. The people in the city, a lot of them don't know they're somewhere else. Some of them can't get out. So all of the drama and the trouble stays where they are. And then they start to try to come on the outskirts to pick other people off little by little. But that gives you time to prepare if you need to protect your goods. That's all I'm saying. So just wanted to put that out there in these times. And it's not that country towns don't flood and other parts of the places don't flood, but they are purposely sometimes flooding, you understand, some of these inner cities. Purposely. They're purposely pumping fluoride, allegedly, in, these these water lines into the HOA housing and apartment areas. Okay, so a lot of people who lives on the outskirts have to have their own well a lot of time, not every time, and they would, have their own sewage or septic system. So this is just a mindset and a thought. Okay, like, let me see the signs of the times. Okay? This ain't the time to be staying in a tent. This ain't the time to be staying in a tent. I know, like, sometimes people want to jump straight to the wilderness. I'm just going to get on the land and get in a tent. Get in a tent where? Get in a tent where? Because you're going to get blown away by the wind. A RV can barely make it in some of this new weather, right? So let me tell you, just be wise in what you're doing. Okay, we have to endure through the end, and there's a time and place for everything, all right? So, we are at 6:06 p.m. right now, so let me get ready to go in. First, I want to make an announcement about our Hebrew and Bible Academy really quick. Just really quick, if you don't mind. Let me get that. So, our Hebrew and Bible Academy, I think they're going to, what week are they in? Lesson 7, possibly. So, I know they spoke about, and taught about, let me see. Let me get the title for you. The split between Israel and Judah. Okay. So, let's see here. right. So we have our Hebrew and Bible Academy there. Get your Sunday morning dose. All right. And for those of you who are new, who have not been in the academy, man, you have to get in the academy, man. Because you might think you understand the Bible, but man, listen, when you get in this Hebrew and Bible Academy, you will understand this Bible on a whole nother level. All right. So, with all of the up-to-date doctrine and everything since we started the church, how the Most High have brought us along. Shalom, Elder Dale. I really appreciate you. Thank you, sir. So I'm just going to run through the themes and everything about the academy just really quick for those who may be new to the channel. We always have new people, okay? So, and those of you who already understand, don't feel away if I put you in remembrance, like Paul said. This academy session has 12 brand new lessons, including the history of the Tower of Babel, the secret war of Edom against the Israelites. Let me tell you, we're going to be talking about some of that tonight. Okay, because, and I'm talking about just for the warfare side. The desolation of abomination. Okay, how to calculate time according to the Bible. All right, you probably didn't know that you should have an understanding about that. How can you watch and pray? So when you read scriptures like when it says watch and pray, you have to understand the actual time according to the Bible. Well, no man knows the day or hour. Of course not. That's not what we're talking about. But you wouldn't even get close to it if you know what I mean? Well, I just rely on Jesus. Well, you just rely on Jesus. There's nothing wrong with that. But hey, that same Jesus told us to understand these times. And he also gave them to Moses. For those of you who, don't understand the Old Testament, he also gave them to Moses in the book of Jubilees and other extra biblical texts. These are the things that we go into. He also talks about a book of Jasher and Joshua and 2 Samuel. So if you don't understand these things, you really don't fully understand the Bible and the Most High God himself. You don't understand your Jesus. Right? And I'm not saying it in pride. I'm telling you, truly, genuinely, you will learn something. I wouldn't want to miss out on this information. We know it. But if I was you, I would not want to miss out on this information, okay? I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to market. I'm telling you, what we're going into tonight, no other people are talking about it, okay? Because other churches are telling you to do the total opposite sometimes. 2020 came, the Most High blessed our church to be warned from not putting things inside of their body that the whole world is now saying, hey, we should have did this. We have negative, you'll understand, issues from putting poisons and chemicals in our body. So if you want to be in the know, hey, come to historytimes.org. Let's continue. A Nest Above the Stars, Satan's space program. The final battle of Armageddon. You don't want to know about the final battle of Armageddon? How many times have you asked your pastor, your teacher, about Armageddon, and he's not able to open up the seals and give you the understanding? We can give you the understanding. No issue. I'm not talking about our understanding or what people call man's understanding. We always are going to have to follow a man of the Most High. You see, our God made it for the children of Israel to have mentors. When Isaac was young, when Jacob was young, listen, a lot of them were sent to Shem and Noah to learn. We always had mentors to be raised up by men, a community of men. There's no thing about doing it alone thinking you're deep. Okay, that's how it goes. Each one will teach one. That's how it goes. Okay? So if you have too much pride, okay, find your way. But be careful, because you know what happens to a bull straying alone. He gets torn to pieces by wolves. Okay? That's what it says in Sirach. That's the wisdom of the Most High. Okay? Covenant under fire, will your marriage stand? Covenant under fire, will your marriage stand? All right? Will your marriage stand? I mean, hey, sometimes I'm wondering, is it's not going to happen, but it's I'm tired of seeing women online who would not be famous outside of being naked. I would like to see them take off all of the lashes, all of the weave, all of these. Well, put some clothes on. I ain't gonna say take the more clothes off. Put some more clothes on and see would they actually be famous for something that's positive, something that's godly, something that's morally sound. Let me tell you, a lot of guys wouldn't really be following all these women because the women wouldn't give them nothing to see. It would be a whole different world, a whole different community. Men will be having to go to, the community things, events, and just to actually get to know brothers and sisters like that, like we did in the past. Not just from a picture thinking I should get with her because of how she looks. So a lot of marriages are falling because our people are under the curses. It's no blame. We were not taught. Let me tell you, it was a whole diabolical plan when our forefathers fell. So it's not a blame against the man or woman. But I'm going to tell you, next week we're going to be talking about how the whole world revolves around that black Israelite man. I don't believe in black Hebrew Israelites, but I'm saying that for the sake of edification. The whole world revolves around and moves because of this man. He is the authority, just like Adam, okay, of what's good, of what's bad, of what's stylish, of what's in. Let me tell you, other men in other nations are competing with him because they know the whole world is looking to him for the answers. Period. Regardless of anything. Everything Esau is doing is because of that. And we're going to bring it around, you understand, full circle, because the Most High is the one who did that. So can your marriage stand? Go to historytimes.org and find out. Because they have roundtable discussions. They invite guests on who are experts in certain areas, whether it be health, whether it be sports, whether it be fitness and health, okay, whether it be farming, whatever the case may be. You also learn Hebrew, okay. Hebrew is the language that the Most High would have us speaking in the beginning. Okay? There's nothing wrong with learning the Yiddish, but that's not the one that we teach. Okay? Our people learn the Hebrew that was before that. Okay? Phoenician, Assyrian. Alright? So you also get world news. You also get world news that may be controversial to show on YouTube that will get our page flagged or banned. Okay? So I just wanted to put these things out there. If you want more information, go there. What's the catch? There's no catch. It's just you can join. You join by paying $50 a month for 3 months, and that's it. Okay? The lessons are viewable for 30 days. If you can't watch them exactly on Sunday. And you get PDF booklet to follow along. Just wanted to put that out there really quick. All right. historytimes.org. So let's go ahead and go in. I have one of my notes up with my links there. And I have one of my notes up with my scriptures here. So let me tell you guys something, man. The talk around town right now, obviously it's Puffy, it's all these other things. Puffy, some people are saying Puffy is free, and he's not free. Okay, and I think he has a case that's coming in October, but that's not what I'm talking about. There's so many things that's going on right now, obviously other distractions. But I want to tell you guys something. Esau is nervous right now. Esau is very nervous, and the devil is running out of time. And, this Guadalupe River thing is the topic of discussion right now. And there's a lot of things there. And, I feel bad whether there were elite children living there or not. I'm sure every person there was not the child of an elite person. So life in general of the Most High, my prayers go out, now if it's something else, it's something else. But my prayers go out to anybody who may be in any type of situation. Correct? So, but you notice that they're trying to push fear. They're trying to keep us under a state of fear, like we talked about last week, so that we cannot have faith in our God and all the things that our God discussed through the prophets, through the teachers, through Christ, that he would actually help and save us in this time. So they're trying everything that they can do to cause all types of issues in our lives. I'm talking about demons, forces of the darkness. Okay, and it's like indirect spiritual bullying, but it's manifested in the physical, because it affects our finances, it affects our money, it affects our mentality, our children, our lifestyles. Okay, how we provide for ourselves. These are the things that they're trying to close up as we go towards this mark of the beast, which is why they came out with one of those bills, the big beautiful bill. When you have three B's together, obviously we know that's 666. Okay, it's not no conspiracy theory. No one names a bill that corny name. They know what they're doing, because it has something to do with how our people live, how our people eat. Okay, where we live in this society. Okay, so and it's funny because now other people are coming out saying, hey, this looks like in our face 666. The number of his name is 666, Revelations 13. Remember? Okay. So ever since Esau came over, for example, he has brought disease with him. Everywhere the tribes are, when you think about it, it actually is fruitful. You go to Jamaica, you go to Puerto Rico, you understand, you go to the Philippines, these different islands, very fruitful places. But every time Esau comes, no offense, I'm not saying every white person. Those of you who don't know who Esau or Edom is, these are the so-called modern day white people, but God called them red. Okay? And he was the brother of Jacob. Okay? So everywhere they have came and colonized, they bring disease. They bring different species of plants, different things that didn't grow in this climate or this actual region. And it's funny because Solomon would talk to the Most High about certain things that we would have to pray for to the east if certain type of diseases came, because those diseases and things would only come if we sinned. A lot of those diseases and things would only come if we sinned. And because our forefathers sinned, we are now under all of these measures to get and to prove ourselves to get back into the kingdom of heaven. I mean, you got to think about it. You hear Esau now at the end of the world of their kingdom. We have to do something. We have to come together and all of these things. Like, listen, hey, we understand that our God was going to put your forefathers over us in captivity. But hey, man, they're messing this place up. You need to go check your people. You need to go holler at your folks. You talking about we come together. How about y'all come together and clean up that mess? You've been living fat and you want to say something now. We ain't had the chance to live fat with more than enough people to be worrying about y'all problems right now. We still worrying about how to get from point A to point B, how our family gonna get some money around here from the 40 acres and mule that you didn't give us. So go holler at your folks, Esau, you white people. You white people go talk to the other white people and figure this thing out, because if you don't, you're going to have some issues and you might not be able to get in our kingdom. You might not be able to repent and come to the kingdom of heaven, because we are the kingdom of heaven, if you didn't know that. Right? So you're going to have to be like your other white brothers and sisters who's a part of following Christ and his law, statutes, and his commandments. But first, you need to go holler at your folks. Stop trying to tell us to come together. Come together under what? So that you can continue to live in your nice houses and places with your people, while our people are struggling and don't have anything. It's getting ready to be a Katrina on steroids out here, the way it's looking. Where they kicking our people out through Section 8, You understand, through taking away their social security, taking away all their social benefits, where they eventually call them some type of refugees and put them in these new camps and stuff that Trump's got in Florida. That's what this thing is looking like, where it's going right now. So go holler at your people before you talking about we all come together. We coming together in Christ. And we understand that this place is going to fall. It's going to fall. So it cannot be saved. The only thing that can be saved is souls, as this place does fall. Okay? You see them, they got their babies pressing the heart button, and the weather is all over the place. They've linked up with fallen angels who had this old technology from before the flood, and they're destroying the earth with it. And it's copycat. It's what our God used and gave to a chosen, righteous people in the past for good. Not to mess up the earth. Our God told us to be fruitful and multiply. Okay? Not to be fruitful and multiply. Multiple depths all over the place. That's what the works of Esau is fruitful in. The way they farm, spraying things, doing all sorts of things, because when they came over here, they messed things up. All right? Let me give you a scripture here really quick before we go forth of what I'm speaking about. Deuteronomy 28 and 22. Really quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and an inflammation and with extreme burning and with the sword and blasting and mildew. Now, blasting and mildew, for those of you who are husbandmen and gardeners, okay, you understand that that's talking about blight, that's talking about mildew, that's talking about fungus, that's talking about wind, that's talking about severe heat to where your plants cannot thrive. That's talking about pest. Okay? And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Right? And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Now check it out. All of these things happen because of curses. These things happen, guys, because of curses. Not just because. So being that our forefathers sinned, you understand, and then these nations were over us, we were put under a foolish nation. They may seem wise. They may seem wise in your eyes, but they are a foolish nation. Okay? I'm going to go to 1 Kings 8 and 37 really quick. I'm going to go to 1 Kings 8 and 37 really quick. All right? And I'm going to pull out some of what's going on in the earth right now. Just wanted to bring these scriptures out really quick. 1 second here. Yeah, let's do it like that. Let's go to verse 35. When heaven is shut up, there is no rain, because they have sinned against thee. See? This is talking about from sin. If they pray towards this place and confess thy name and turn from their sin when thou afflictest them, then hear thou in heaven and forgive the sin of thy servants and of thy people Israel. It's not talking about the people who are staying in the land of Israel today. Sorry to tell you, if you're new, it is those people do not fit the scriptures in the Bible except for Revelations 2 and 9, 3 and 9. They fit those scriptures of being Israel, meaning they are Israelis. They are converted Jews. Okay, so they're Jews in that sense, but not talking about the people in this particular scripture here. These are talking about the so-called Native Indian and Hispanics and Aboriginal people and Negroes. Okay? Not the $5 Indians. A lot of the Indians you pass up every day look just like Negroes and brothers. I'm not saying some of those people are not our people, but what I'm saying is, these are the people predominantly is talking about here. Okay? That thou teach them the good way wherein they should walk, and give rain upon thy land, which thou hast given to thy people for an inheritance. If there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, talking about the bugs coming to eat the crops, because that's why they're doing all the spraying and everything that they're doing. Geoengineering, climate change initiatives. Okay? If their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, what prayer and supplication soever be made by any man, or by all thy people Israel, which shall know every man the plague of his own heart, talking about your mind, and spread forth his hands towards this house, talking about praying to the east, because we're not in the land right now. So we will pray towards the east, where our land is, since we're in this direction. Then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive and do and give to every man according to his ways. Not just giving you something just because you're an Israelite. According to your ways. That means your faith, your works, and all that. Not just because you prayed and you felt, you know what I mean? Knowest the hearts of the children of all men. So you can pray to the Most High God, but if you pray for something and you ask for something, you're not willing to go through the whole process to get it. He already knows that, hey, I can't answer this person's prayer the way that they're praying to me, because I already know their mind that they can't be consistent with anything. They're just praying. But then you have another person who's praying, willing to go through the whole process of that. This is what Solomon's talking about, just to be clear. That they may fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou gavest unto our forefathers. Okay? So I'm saying these things to say, where are you going with this, Elder? Well, a lot of these things that we see are happening because of our people being in the curses. You understand? But our God intended blessings upon us. So being that our people are still out there sinning, destruction has to continue to happen. Our people are still in captivity. We have to prove and endure to get back into the kingdom. So the devil has a certain time slot, opportunity, freedom to prove the sons of men through weather warfare and all that, the same thing that he copycat from the Most High God. You understand? And the righteous just have to endure through it. But you have to understand that it's just not happening to kill the righteous and we should be worried. Okay? We're here to pull people out of this world, out of the matrix. So, let's see what's going on in the world. First, I want to pull this out here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This is tdlr.texas.gov. So this is a legitimate government site, excuse me, of weather modification. And if you look on the site, you can see where some of these storms and floods have already been happening. You understand what I'm saying? I wanted to see, was there something else on here? So one second here. So right now, where some of these things are already happening, especially where the green is, that's where that Guadalupe River runs right there. Map of rain enhancement projects in Texas. So I don't know if any of you remember that, Elder. I went with you guys to the UN site not too long ago, talking about what a lot of people still fail to remember, that they said with their own mouths that there will be a climate change initiative after the C-19 event in 2020. And we have been dealing with it. It was starting with places like Hawaii, and it hasn't stopped yet. It hasn't stopped yet. I went to the UN site with you guys, showing you the things that they were talking about when it concerns to climate change. And every time we look up a place, they already got this thing planned out. We showed a map of the future. Navy map of future America, if you guys can remember also. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I mean, Elder showed it a few weeks back too. You guys remember this map here? Okay. So, yeah. All right. So there's all type of initiatives that they have. Okay. And obviously the map we just saw is not the same as this one, but if it's dry in an area, that area would now need what? It would need more water. Now, I don't know if it would need that much water when it comes to flooding, but it's like, hey, now we have an excuse. Now we have an excuse in a sense. First, I'm going to go here because there's been some strange things, fair use, educational purposes only, things happening out there. There's been some strange things happening out there.
Las Vegas. We are on Tropicana in front of the Walmart. Every last one of the light poles, the electricity poles are down. This goes for miles. We ain't got no power. I don't know what the hell is going on. This goes for miles, y'all. Look at the cords on the ground. It goes all the way down. Miles. What the hell? What the hell? All of these are down, y'all. Every last one of the powers down.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. It's not that, like I said, that this doesn't happen in the small little country towns, the outskirts. Every now and then you might get a pole knocked down. You do. These people are more of a small community. They understand. They know each other. This was in Vegas, Miss Wiggins. In the city, it's just every man for himself mentality. And people are at the behest of the government, the city, whatever the case may be. Not that there's not small little city towns and things around there. No. What I'm saying is, this is why I told you guys, you have to see the signs of the times. You're going to have to see them. Not going to be able to spell every little thing out for you guys. The prophecies are there. The teachers are there telling you guys, hey, look at your situation and see, like, hey. And what I'm saying, I'm not telling people to go to another country. I'm not telling you what to do anything. But people are so extreme, you know, they'll see a rapper traveling. It's time for them to travel because he rapped a few good lyrics. It's time for us to travel. The elders, and that's not what we're saying. We're saying, look at your situation. You're living beyond your means, or are you ready to make it through these times? Because guess what? This is what's coming. Or if these light poles are down, are you prepped to be able to actually have some power? You have a generator? Do you have something else? See? And I'm going to tell you, people who live in Vegas say, hey, not having power in Vegas ain't good. You see what I'm saying? Not having power in Vegas, in places like Vegas, Arizona, that ain't good. Now, How did this happen? I still don't have a clue. How did this happen? I still don't have a clue. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot of spiritual stuff going on. We know what they're doing. We know what they're doing with the weather, regardless if they're going to admit it or not. There's bills behind this stuff. That's why we show, like, hey, where this flood is. I just showed you on the site that legally they have a whole project and plan, and it's like, hey, this just happened out of nowhere, right? All right, let's go to this Camp Mystic. First, before we go to, well, I'll tell you what, we go straight there. Fair use, educational purposes only. Now, these are news, people who do news on Instagram and stuff, because sometimes they actually have better news than some people out there. Okay? Fair use.
Is releasing a statement with a number of deaths.
I want you to pay attention to what she says here, because I have another video there. And I'm glad that Julian Davis said that it could be AI. I'm glad that Julian Davis actually said that, because you guys have to understand something too. Now that AI is very good, they can actually show a weather event that may not actually be happening in an area and call a state of an emergency because they put that AI footage on the news. Sometimes it's partial real. Sometimes these days it's partial AI, possibly. That's how we have to see things now. And I wouldn't be shocked at that. Why? Because when I was overseas and there were things going on in Libya, Fox got caught showing, you understand, footage of an old situation when there was a new situation going on. Somebody says it's giving sacrifice vibes. You know what? I thought about that. So I didn't want to jump to conclusion, but hey, it's a possibility. Let's see what they have going on there. Pay attention to what she says.
In this statement, Camp Mystic says it is grieving the loss of 27 campers and counselors following the catastrophic flooding on the Guadalupe River. The statement goes on to say, our hearts are broken alongside our families that are enduring this unimaginable tragedy. We are praying for them constantly. We have been in communication with local and state authorities who are tirelessly deploying extensive resources to search for our missing girls. We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of support from community, first responders, and officials at every level. We ask for your continued prayers, respect, and privacy for each of our families affected. May the Lord continue to wrap his presence around all of us. I just can't stop thinking that it was just a little over a week ago that parents dropped their young children off to have the best 4 weeks of their life at Camp Mystic, a camp I attended 30 years ago. And now
she said, now keep in mind to the 30 years ago thing. All right? Keep in mind in that. She attended it 30 years ago and she just so happened to be working for CNN. We're going to go into the definition of mystic. And, you know, I looked into the owners and all that. I was just searching around to see what was going on with this. And people are just, you know, people dig for you now. But it's like, hold up, you working for CNN, who we already can't trust with news, and you just sitting there, you don't look sad at all to be a girl who was going there, but not that she have to look sad, but it's something ain't right about this situation.
some of those same parents are going to the local funeral home to potentially identify their child. It's just beyond comprehension, the heartbreak here. You feel it all around. This is the first.
She don't look like, personally, she don't look like she feel anything, but I'm just saying. You know, I could be wrong. You know, because this video, when she said 30 years ago, but then I seen this video, then I'm like, hold up, what's going on here? Check it out.
They tell me this exact
fair use, educational purposes only.
flood hit the same river about 30 years ago where unalive kids at a camp.
So the same flood in Texas happened 30 years ago. So that means she would have been there? I'm not saying she would have been at the exact time or something, but that she would have been there. I don't know if she was there. Because, this so-called, and every time there's a holiday, there's always some type of false flag, sacrifice. There's always some type of event. Always. And I said, and I was talking to my wife, I said, yeah, it's going to be some type of event on the 4th. It's going to be something on every day. Something around our holidays, holy days, excuse me. Something around their holidays. It always happens. Right?
What type of coincidence is that? What type of signal? What type of cycle? That's crazy, y'all. This flood didn't just come out of nowhere. It's like history is repeating itself almost 30 years to the day. Back in 1987, the same Guadalupe River flooded. A wall of water came crashing down Hill County and swept away a church camp full of teens. And this was back in 1987. Look at the video.
On Friday morning, July 17, 1987, the small town of Comfort, Texas, became a scene of a heroic rescue and tragic loss. Much of the footage you will see was taped on that day by the banks of the Guadalupe River. It was the day they were supposed to go home. The more than 300 children at the church camp were awakened early. The river was flooded. If they didn't leave soon,
This is crazy.
might not be able to leave at all. They come in there rushing us up and everything. Tell us get up, get bags and all this stuff. And everybody's asking why. They said we gotta get out of here because the river was flowing over. When we started going around the corner, we want to go down the hill, then water started coming in the bus and stuff. We tried to back up, but then the bus got stuck, so they made all of us get out of the bus. And that's whenever the first wave hit.
So back then, it was 10 kids that were unalived. Now you got over 80 people that were unalived on this one. Question I want to ask is, if they knew this happened before, why did they let them people build another camp in the same exact place? And why didn't they upgrade the flood system?
Listen, our people that became the news now. Look, Jake that became the news. He look like Brother Balas over there. You know what I mean? Lord have mercy. But so listen, a flood can happen 10 years from the time. I mean, rivers flood. That's not my thing. My thing is, this woman from CNN said she was there 30 years ago, and then it just so happens to be a flood 30 years ago, according to the information that they're giving us. But it's not just that for me. I'm not really shocked about rivers flood. Now this river did kind of, you understand, flood very quickly out of nowhere. But that's a whole nother story. It's those things for me. How it flooded and ran over so quickly. And how this camp just so happened to be a camp of many elites. Barbara Bush had something to do with it at one point. A lot of Texas elites, had their children going to this camp for many years. Okay, so that was a thing for me. It was like, hold up, why is it called Mystic? You understand? And so for me, I get the climate change, weather warfare thing, but it's even deeper than that with this situation. Now we know they've been using this stuff already on us for the past few years as we've been talking about these storms. But this one, it just so happened to be on July 4th. The lady saying it was 30 years ago, she just so happened to be working for CNN. It's like, it's just too close. It's just too small of a world, huh? It's too small of a world. But yet and still, out of all of that, we have to be prepared. Because these people just pressing buttons. They just all over the place. Okay? So, see the Most High made it where when we have the heart weapon, you couldn't just have an Israelite, go and controlling the heart just because he wanted to. You couldn't even just have any Levite touching it. You see what I'm saying? let me tell you, you had to be a certain type of Levite. All right. So I don't know who they got pressing this button, you know. But listen, it's earthquakes in Japan. We're gonna go through some of this stuff. Fair use, educational purposes only.
Was filled with political elite children. You mean to say what I said? For over 100 years, they've been holding that camp there. A camp full of children that's the children of the elite politicians of Texas. What I need y'all to do is pull up the map of rain enhancements in Texas. And then after you pull up that map, I need you to look in the area where that map basically is focusing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that this shit is crazy.
Map of rain enhancement projects in Texas. I just want to show y'all this real quick. No particular reason or anything like that, but I just wanted y'all to see this, okay? Gonna read y'all a couple things that don't make any sense. Right here is talking about the river had risen 42 foot in just 1 to 3 hours. Unimaginable water flow. Like, that's like something's not right. That's not. This right here is like a 16-hour time lapse. I want y'all to check this out. What's weird to me is this right here stays right there pretty much the entire time, dude. Why? There was this Christian summer camp where all these girls went missing. Well, apparently, during the flood, you know what I mean? Apparently, it's been attended by the daughters of Texas political elite for 100 years. It just stays like it's just sitting there going and going and going and going. Now, why would it be doing that? Why is it just taking forever to be in the same spot like that, man? And to have so much power in that one area? Why is that? Can anybody tell me why?
Let's just say that camp was filled with political elite children. You mean to say what I said? For over 100 years, they've been holding that camp there. A camp full of children that's the children of the elite politicians of Texas. What I need y'all to do is pull up the map of rain enhancements in Texas.
All right, so let me tell you, people are becoming awake to the question whether or not, if some believe that is there weather modification or manipulation or not. There's people who's questioning, is this stuff real or not? Now, you do have, what's her name? She's actually trying to go against it. What's her name? Marjorie. Fair use really quick. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not that I support any of these people, but, I'm just saying. A lot of these people be playing both sides, but I'm just saying. I know Florida, I think Gavin Newsom, they passed a bill with this weather modification. So some places it looks like it's going to be open to this stuff, and then eventually they'll pass laws where it can't happen in other places. We'll see. But check it out.
Greene from Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia announced on Saturday her intention to introduce a bill targeting weather modification. She stated, "I am introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense." In a post on the social media platform X, Greene explained that she has been researching weather modification and collaborating with the Legislative Council for months to draft this bill. The proposed legislation is said to be similar to Florida's Senate Bill 56, which was signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis in late June. This law makes it illegal for individuals to engage in geoengineering and weather modification.
Yeah, listen, I messed y'all Florida man's name up. Yeah, I said Gavin Newsom, excuse me. That was the dude from CNN. I mean Ron DeSantis, excuse me. Thank you, guys.
Engage in geoengineering and weather modification, imposing a $100,000 fine and a 5-year prison sentence. The penalties would apply to cloud seeding, an 80-year-old technology that involves adding tiny particles, usually silver iodide crystals, to clouds to induce rain or snow, as defined by the Government Accountability Office. While some states have engaged in cloud seeding, it has rarely been pursued by federal jurisdictions. Green emphasized the need to end what she described as the dangerous and deadly practices of weather modification and geoengineering. However, lawmakers in Florida have defended cloud seeding as a safe practice, arguing that it has been misrepresented by conspiracy theories about weather alteration. These theories often confuse contrails, which are condensation trails left by planes, with so-called chemtrails. Mick West, a science writer and fellow for the Committee of Skeptical Inquiry, explained that people often conflate the two due to misunderstandings about geoengineering and weather modification. Green previously made headlines when she suggested that Democrats could control the weather following Hurricane Helene. This prompted then-President Joe Biden to criticize her remarks as irresponsible and beyond ridiculous.
But see, I see her blaming the Democrats for the weather, but it's like, I mean, you guys are in office right now, right? You guys are in office, and you know, places like where Gavin Newsom is, the guy who's on CNN when it comes to the fires. Okay, you know, one of them traveled, right? One of them had traveled the country when the fires were happening. It's like we have fires. We got the thing in Hawaii. You know what I mean? Let me tell you, this thing's going on in Central South America as well, where people are having to paint their roofs, was it blue, just so they don't get hit by the HARP weapon and all of that, allegedly. Let me tell you, I don't believe it's just the Democrats. I believe that, hey, you guys are in power right now. You know what I mean? You got to go through all these things to pass these laws. Because you have to understand something. Like RFK, for instance. He's passing bills of taking red dye out, blue dyes out, chemicals, fluoride. But then he tells you, hey, you can wear this little thing on your arm, this little gadget on your arm that helps you to read your blood sugar for diabetes. And to me, I'm like, well, hold up now. You're telling the people they need to start trusting the new technology because you're doing one thing. It just sounds like to me like the tree of good and evil. Because if they're trusting devices that they inject and put inside of them, they would eventually down the line take the mark of the beast. And he's a Republican. Right? So, guys, everybody's playing a role in this. They just have their places that they want to save for last, where their people can last until this place is totally destroyed. All right? So we're going to leave that there. Like I said, we're not going to be on long at all. Let me get these other few links here. I wanted to go into the definition of this mystic, though. Let me go into the definition of this mystic really quick, because it's just, you know, kind of eerie. We know the definition of mystic, but I want the people to see who may not know. Mystical. All right. Of or relating to mysteries of esoteric rites. We know that a lot of people in government, and you understand, of these politicians, a lot of these people, if you just look them up, they just so happen to be in secret fraternities and Freemasonry. So I wouldn't send my daughter to them called Camp Mystic. That don't even sound like I want to send my daughter to something like that. What man is sending his daughter to something that sounds even close to the word mystery, even though it's mystical? See? Of or relating to mysticism or mystics, mysterious. See? See? Obscure. All right. Enigmatic. Inducing a feeling of awe or wonder, having magical properties. You see that? A follower of a mystical way of life. You see that? That's just one of the definitions. Let's go to another one really quick. Let's go to another one really quick. Cambridge. DictionaryCambridge.org. I don't think I said the other one. Now, this one says, someone who attempts to be united with God through prayer. Hey, what God? Okay. What God? Let's go down, though. Relating to magic or having magic powers, especially of a secret, dark, or mysterious kind. Hey, let me tell you, it just so happens that a lot of John Kerry, George Bush, Skull and Bones, and they're sending their daughters to this place and their children to this place. And let me tell you, we're supposed to be a country of God. Well, we threw that out the window a long time ago. They've let LGBT in the church, in politics. They're trying to let them in the army and all that. Now, yeah, they may in some areas be taking their rights away, but listen, this is why I'm saying this thing is not adding up when it comes to this camp mystic. It sounded esoteric to me in the beginning, so I said, let me get some of these definitions for the people to show them what's truly going on here. All right. One more from the Oxford Dictionary here, if you guys can see it. A person who seeks by contemplation and self-surrender. Like those actors who say they have to take on a spirit to play the role. Check it out. To obtain unity with absorption into the deity or the absolute. So when people say, hey, it's sounding like a sacrifice, because we're finding out through information, not through just trying to be conspiracy theories. We're finding out that through some of these Jewish rabbis and things like that, no offense to them, but they're trying to bring people back. Well, not bring them back from the dead, but they're trying to speak to their so-called God when people die and all that. So why would it be far-fetched for them to think that, hey, something weird is going on at some of these camps? Because when I used to camp in Boy Scouts, and it's crazy that it was called the Eagle Scout, because that's Esau right there. When you graduate to from the Weeblo, from the little corn, and you get to the Eagle Scout, who the Most High calls Esau, because he watches over people like an eagle. They would not really watch us. I'll be honest with you. We were able to travel and do whatever we wanted to do. They would not really watch us, and we would be late at night playing capture the flag, and it's a bunch of boys playing capture the flag. Now, thank God it wasn't no crazy LGBT stuff going on back then. We were just being boys. But let me tell you, I'm sure the further you go into some of this stuff, that it probably gets a little deep. I'm glad I quit and realized that I wasn't Esau. My stepdad was in the military, so he put me in Boy Scouts. It wasn't a bad thing. I learned how to tie knots and learn how to, be a boy. But I can tell you, a lot of brothers was playing sports, and I said, yeah, you know what? Let me go to the sports side. And then that turned into, it's like every arena you go into, it still have some secret fraternity situation going on with that. You know what I mean? Now, they also are saying that they cannot predict weather anymore because of the government cuts. A gentleman said that here in Florida. Check it out. Fair use, educational purposes only.
And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you, it's going to turn. You don't need to worry. It is going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I'm not sure I can do that this year, because of the cuts, the gutting, the sledgehammer attack on science in general, and I could talk about that for a long, long time, and how that is affecting the U.S. Leadership in science over many years, and how we're losing that leadership, and this is a multi-generational impact on science in this country, all right? But specifically, let's talk about the federal government cuts to the National Weather Service and to NOAA. Did you know that Central and South Florida National Weather Service offices are currently basically 20 to 40% understaffed.
I think I heard also that Trump was saying that he wasn't going to pay the budget to play the weather alerts in Spanish anymore. So I'm not saying that what this guy is saying is not true and that he's playing both sides, because I guess it's a lot of different things going on when they're talking about cutting. But it seems like that cutting thing is mostly to the children of Israel and to people who was targeted with certain weather and certain things that they're losing, jobs, benefits. And guys, if you think I'm joking about these benefits, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Let me tell you, they're using every tool and tactic against us as our God raises us from the valley of dry bones. Every tool and tactic that they can use. And our only safety is going to be Christ and righteousness, following the law, statutes, and commandments, and getting through it. Proving that not only do we follow the law now, because he's not worried about us only following the law anymore, because our forefathers, they followed the law for years, but then they fell from it. Now you're going to have to actually have faith in him, not just the law only. Like, I know you can follow the law, but do you truly love me? Some people will follow the law because they have to. But let me see, do you really love me? The Most High is saying.
Understaffed. From Tampa to Key West, including the Miami office, 20 to 40% understaffed. Now, this type of staffing shortage is having impacts across the nation because there's been a nearly 20% reduction in weather balloon launches that carry those radio sons. And what we're starting to see is that the quality of the forecasts is becoming degraded. There's also a chance, because of some of these cuts, that...
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Whether he's playing both sides or not, I have no clue. But I can look on the app on my phone and look at the weather. My wife or my daughter or anybody in the house can look on that app. It says two different things. Every single time. I think, and in my opinion, this is by design. It'll say 90% on hers. It'll say no rain today on mine. Refresh that thing. It's saying the same thing. What is going on? You will not be able to predict anything right now. That's why, for me personally, some of you are blessed where your climate is when it comes to growing food. Because I'm really pushing towards a lot of my vegetables, I'm not saying all of them, but depending on how these storms and things are going, a lot of my vegetables in greenhouse, building me a bigger greenhouse that is solar controlled, solar weather controlled, like just keeping a year-round, temperature to grow certain foods that I like. That's what I'm thinking about. They got these new solar things, new solar gadgets. Power up a small AC, definitely can power a fan. But I'm listening. The way these chemtrails, the way this rain and this mildew, and like Solomon was saying with the blasting and all that, man, I'm rethinking some things here. All right, rethinking some things, and I got some plans with my fruit trees already. Spraying them with some things I spray them with that are very healthy and good, and we'll talk about that another time when it comes to husbandry. But I wanted to show that really quick. I mean, obviously, I'm not playing all of the videos. If I don't really fully need to play the whole thing, but let me show here what's going on with Japan first. Listen, you don't know if Japan, you don't know in Japan if a Leviathan finna come up or what. 900 earthquake, because they had that tsunami not too long ago. Sometimes you don't know if Leviathan's coming or what's going on in Japan. Lord have mercy. They always showing the King Kong, so I'm like, hold up. Maybe Leviathan is coming to the top. 900 earthquakes in 2 weeks. 900 earthquakes in 2 weeks. I appreciate that. You give me that coaster right there. 900. Sorry guys, I'm getting my beautiful tea made by one of the daughters of Zion. You know what I'm talking about? That thing is serious. Ooh. Wait till I drop that recipe. Huh. So we don't know if Leviathan is coming up from Japan, being that they had all these King Kong movies. 900 earthquakes in 2 weeks and strange sounds from the sea. What the Hades is going on under there? We know Leviathan has to come out. And a lot of these things are going to happen upon Christ's coming. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Let me tell you, we're not worrying about what the nations are doing. We're not worrying about what the nations are doing. There's so much that has to happen in a short time. Get ready. Get ready. And I have a little video here. Brother Johnny sent me this. Fair use, educational purposes only. Fair use. Brother Johnny sent me this from the Houston body. I thank all of you out there who sends me beautiful news. Right? Fair use, educational purposes only. This is from WION News.
In southern Japan, more than 900 earthquakes in just 2 weeks, and they're still not stopping.
Well, the remote Rawchaa Island chain has been shaken non-stop since the 21st of June. The latest, a 5.5 magnitude quake, hit on Wednesday afternoon, triggering an emergency press briefing by Japan's weather agency.
Officials say they don't know when this will end, and for residents, that uncertainty is the scariest part. One resident said it feels like it's always shaking and it's very scary to even fall asleep. Others say they're considering evacuation, especially for their children. These islands, located south of Kyushu Island, are home to just 700 people, but 7 out of 12 islands are inhabited.
A similar episode unfolded in September 2023, but this time the activity is far more intense. Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a global hotspot for seismic activity. On average, Japan faces 1,500 earthquakes every year, accounting for 18% of the world's total.
And see, this is what I'm saying. If you know there's a place that's just going to keep getting hit, it's like, come on now, like it's time to pack up and move. If you know it's violence on violence on violence, it's time to pack up and move. Christ told us in Matthew 24, if they persecute you in one city, flee to the next. If you can't find a job and you staying broke in one place, it's time to move to another place. Maybe the Most High don't want you there. He's not opening these doors. And I know we were used to, hey, this is the place I'm from, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But listen, to make it through these times, you can't be no beggar. You're going to have to fight and endure through these times. Let me tell you, this is what's coming. This is what's happening. And it's happening for you. It's happening for you. Let me tell you. It's a pleasure to serve Christ. That's all I'm going to say in these times. Right? To die for Christ for us, it would have to be a pleasure for our people because listen, he's showing us, he's changed our lives. We would have nothing. We would be nothing if we didn't know this. And he's doing this for our people. Like I said, have no fear. We're just bringing this out for news and things like that, right? But have no fear. Have no fear. All right? So, play that there.
Earlier this year, nearly 600 people died when a powerful quake struck the Noto Peninsula on New Year's Day. Now with 900 quakes and counting, Rawchaa residents are living in fear, waiting for the shaking to stop.
Alrighty. Give me one moment here. There we go. So this is the call-in number if you guys want to call in. 979-398-5875. All right. So we're only going to take a few calls, but let's finish going through. This is the call button. We do not want you to call in about baptisms. Okay, if you want to get baptized, we have a church email for that. Elder Dale, can you put the church email if you're still on here for that? If you want to get baptized, please do not call the our shows for this stuff. Okay, we want to keep it on the topic. Please. Okay. So that's just what I want to say. We have to start keeping things on the actual topic instead of taking it somewhere else. And if you have something that you want to ask, you can always send us an email, or you can ask people who are in your area, who you're under, or just send the email. All right. So once again, the call-in number is 979-398-5875. If people want to call in tonight to give their feedback on these floods. I also heard that it was flooding also in North Carolina again. Those of you who are in North Carolina, is this true? Is this AI, or is this going on? I mean, it is raining here in Houston out of nowhere. It's going to be raining for about a week. So I'm sure that's not AI. I'm just asking because we don't know what's real anymore. So we have to really hear from the people on the ground sometimes now. And are our people okay over there? Excuse the language if you hear Esau. Esau is always using the F-bomb for whatever reason when he's excited. It's low in the video, but I'm just like, they use that like 30 times in one sentence.
Shit, these people are bummed. Oh.
What is that?
Oh my god. Oh.
What is that?
Oh no, this is not good, man. This is not good. Look, dude, those people in that house right there. Oh no, get out of there.
All right, peoples, we got severe flash flooding happening here in Orange County, North Carolina. This is the worst flooding I've seen in the Chapel Hill, Carborough area. Anybody that tries to come out here and drive it tonight, please don't do it. Look at this. There's a waterfall where there shouldn't be one. This whole lot. This whole parking lot. It's just incredible river that just going all the way down, man. There's multiple cars that have been stranded. After we just being getting dumped on here by the remains of Tropical Storm Chantal.
So we have a brother said it wasn't near, no church here in North Carolina was near the flooding. Well, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. I do pray for those if you have family or friends or and other people in there, right? So I do pray for those people. Boy, I don't know if they're just targeting certain areas or what. All right. I don't know if they're just targeting certain areas or what, but let me see here. I want to go to this document really quick on yournews.com. Check this out. Owning the weather in 2025. U.S. Air Force document describes using fog manipulation for unprecedented military advantage. Check that out. You remember the fog we were going through last year? It's let me tell you, you always go back and find some bills on this stuff. Always. A visionary 1996 U.S. Air Force report. Weather as a force multiplier. Owning the weather in 2025. I'm just like, this stuff, it can't be coincidences, right? And yeah, like you guys saying, somebody said they were told that there's earthquakes in Mexico too. And yeah, these are just the places we know right now. I'm sure it's crazy weather going on all over the place. It just started raining here where it's flooding here. But more so in the inner city. But let's continue. So in 2025, where all this stuff is going on, and it was going on also last year, and the year before that, reveals plans to harness emerging technologies to control weather phenomena. With fog manipulation identified as a crucial capability for reshaping the battle space. Well, they were saying that in some of this fog that there could possibly be certain types of parasites and bacteria or microbes coming out of the sky on people, why people were getting sick and things like that. Okay? By your news media newsroom, a visionary U.S. Air Force report weather as a force multiplier owning the weather in 2025 unveils plans to harness emergency technologies to control weather phenomena for military advantage. Among the many applications highlighted, fog manipulation. Okay, it says among the many applications highlighted, fog manipulation. Both dissipation and creation stands out as a critical capability for shaping the battle space in unprecedented ways. The document emphasizes that owning the weather by 2025 could offer unparalleled advantages, allowing forces to disrupt enemy operations, enhance friendly maneuverability, and achieve dominance in global communications and counter space control. The Air Force envisions this capability as essential for modern warfare, with applications spanning from the battlefield concealment to aviation safety. Hey, I hear them, modern warfare, but for some reason this stuff is not hitting so-called enemies. This stuff seems to be hitting actual Americans. So who is the actual enemy that's being targeted here? Who is the enemy? If this is for modern warfare, because we're getting it. You guys don't know how to control the technology out there or something? Or you too afraid to say who you're really targeting, like Esau truly is? He wants to fight from afar, throw rocks from afar. But guess what? You can't touch the righteous. You can't touch the chosen. See? You only can touch who you allow to touch. You want to come up with some professional statement about what you're actually doing instead of being brave and saying, listen, we coming to kill you niggas. That's just the truth. You afraid to say it. You afraid to say you're coming to kill the chosen seed of the Most High God. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's seed. And that's a coward move. So let me tell you, keep doing what you're doing, Esau. Because when it's over, you're going to be over. And guess what? We're going to take some of your people with us. We're going to take them captive in a good way. Let me tell you, they're going to be able to live in peace. Huh? Your people are mad at you too. Yeah. Your people are mad at you too for what you're doing. Your own people are mad at you pressing these crazy buttons, just destroying God's creation. See? Yes, indeed. And you want to push racism because you want us to hate people. So that's why you highlight, the hate groups and the extremist groups. And then you want to say it's Russians doing this, it's Arabs doing this, it's East Indians doing this. But really you're targeting our people like a coward. Instead of just saying you're targeting our people. If you're a man of war, you go to war heads up. You don't backstab like a coward. You're literally saying we're using this because there's climate change when you know you're targeting our people. You come out with these diseases and these sicknesses that you know you're targeting our people with, and you say it came from China, and then there's about some Africans that's dealing with bats and stuff in the caves. You see what I'm saying? And you know they can't fight for themselves over there. But our God can fight for us. See? Our God can fight for us. Okay? And we don't want to go back to Africa. We don't want to go back to Africa. We love our brothers over there. We're all going to be, guess what, in the land that our God promised us. And I don't think after what they've been going through in Africa, they even want to be in Africa. I know they tired of eating fufu with their hands. Fufu and goozy with their hands. Let me tell you, my brothers out there in Africa too. Those are not your standards. Those are not your standards that how you've been living in Africa. I'm telling you, you were kings. You ate with utensils. I don't know this thing of the bush meat and you eating with the hands and this is how it's really supposed to be done, be it one with the food. No. I'm sorry. That's not it, because we were holy men and women. There were utensils in God's house. Gold forks. We ain't eating with the hands like monkeys and stuff. We ain't doing that. And I'm not calling our people monkeys, but I'm saying a lot of those things and principles over there were learned from the Hamites. You live among Hamites. So Judah over here, since nobody came from Africa to rescue us, the word is coming out and we there to help y'all. We ain't even worrying about people saying sorry over there no more. It don't even matter. It's too late. It's time for us to get ourselves right with our people all over the earth and get ready, because our God is getting ready to fight for us. No more letting them use, our downfall in Africa, America, South America, wherever we are, to divide us. We all going through the same thing in our own way. Y'all over there eating stuff with your hands. We over here eating ramen noodles. Hot dogs with pork and bologna. And a white man and a Chinese and the Arabs and the East Indian got their foot on all of us. And they all in agreement with this weather warfare that we're reading here right now. Period. And that's why I'm going to do a lesson to show people that next week, the whole world revolves around that black man. Whether he has money or not. The whole world, even with a broke black man who can put on some fly clothes, a hat and some shades and can rap a few lines, the whole world needs his acknowledgement. Proven to you, even in his downfall, the world needs his acknowledgement on what's cool, what's right or what's wrong, and what's good. Period. Let me tell you, we're going to prove it. Okay? So this is about warfare. But once again, they're copycats. Because our God, when you look here in my notes, look here in my notes. I'm going to pull some of this from Eastward. Wrote some notes here. So, one second. This is how our God have been using weather warfare in history. Haggai. And these are just little excerpts. 2:17. I smote you with the blasting and with mildew and with hail in all the labors of your hands. Yet you turned not to me, said the Lord. Our God was using weather warfare against us and our enemies. Look at it. Before winds blew, or the earth. This is 2 Ezra 6:4-6. Before the winds blew, or thunder sounded, or lightning flashed, or before any foundation of paradise was laid. I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another. So Esau, you're a copycat. The Most High had taught this to the angels, and this was a job of the angels. So you had to worship, angels who got kicked out to get this information, when you could have just worshipped the God who made you. Okay? You can get into the king. You can get into guess what? The homelands that were designated to you when Christ comes back and gives us our kingdom, just like your other good brothers and sisters who want to follow Christ and the person who made them. You can get in there too. Just repent. Get your hand off the heart button. Get your hand off the heart button. Stop killing innocent people and repent. There's too much blood on your hands already. Okay? Let's go through some more. Exodus 9:23 through 26. Plague of hail in Egypt. When Moses stretched out his staff towards the sky, the Lord sent thunder and hail and lightning flashed down to the ground. The only place it did not hail was the land of Goshen where the Israelites were. So it's even going to come a time where it becomes very exact. Where our God is going to actually, let me tell you, put another spirit on his men. Let me tell you, who could actually stop it from raining and all that. That's not yet. It's not time for that yet. But whenever the Most High decides, the same thing Moses was doing, the men of the Most High will be able to do down the line upon Christ's coming. I'm telling you. One more scripture here. Job 37:9 through 13. Out of the south comes a storm, and out of the north the cold, whether for correction or for his land or for love, he causes it to happen. Right? Check that out. So the Most High is just allowing Satan to do what the Most High did in the ancient times. God can control and do what he wants to do. But this is the time of the end where sinners have to get taken out. Where gold has to be tried in the fire. Do you love the Most High just for your material things? Or if a storm hits your house, will you still love him? So we're going to get tested too. Yeah, we're going to be protected. But we're going to have to go through different tests too. To see if we just love him when we're comfortable only. Let me tell you, my house got hit with a storm. Let me tell you, I stayed with my faith. I stayed with my faith in my God. Loved him, didn't complain, didn't ask for a handout, wasn't sad. I gotta tell my wife, it's all right, we're gonna handle it, don't even worry about it. Not tripping. Land caught on fire before from these idiots around the corner. Right? And guess what? It didn't touch my land. Touched everybody else's land. It didn't touch mine. And guess what? I was ready to walk away from it altogether. Not even worried. Oh, I'm about to lose all my stuff. So what? Who wants to do it? But I was ready to do it. Get what we can get. Let's go. That's why you be responsible. Keep your credit right. Save a little extra money. So guess what? If it happens, so what? You rebuild. You show the Most High you're going to love him through whatever test you go through. Now, if you're going through these tests and you're righteous, what's going to happen to the wicked? What's going to happen to the wicked? Don't forget, hey, some of us want to be disciples. What happened to Paul? He was shipwrecked. He was shipwrecked again. He was stoned. He went through these things. He got back up and finished the walk, finished the mission. You don't see me crying like no Mark. You don't see me crying like a weakling. We were street preaching the other day. I had to admire this older man, this elder. He was, there's so much going on right now. Our people are homeless. Our people are losing places to stay with these new laws they're passing. Trust me, when it comes to Social Security and social benefits, people are losing homes right now. It's going to be so many people who depend on us to help lead them through these times. You don't have a clue. You better get ready. So if you're not tough through what you see going on, let me tell you, it is not about materialistic stuff. That stuff is going to come and go. But this gentleman, and I know it's two sides to a story. We were street preaching. Deacon Quadam was street preaching. The man needed prayer. And, we can assume he was on drugs or this and that, but that wasn't the case. He said, I just need prayer. He used to be a police or whatever the case may be. And I guess his job went bad or whatever, and the wife, he was married 43 years. The wife, she left him, whatever the case may be. And I guess they end up, the wife ended up divorcing him. Because I guess that was going on or whatever the case may be. I'm sure she has her side of the story, but they saved like $1.3 million for their retirement. She took it all. And he was left with nothing. His own blood son beat him so bad. I mean, it was bad, man. Like his face was just kind of like his own blood son, because he took mama's side. And, like I said, I'm sure mom has a story, but my thing is this. Even with all that, why as black people, why as Israelites do we, even though if we couldn't get along or we wasn't supposed to be together, or we just, that just happened. And I'm talking about people in the world, obviously, that you had children together, you had a life. You just want to see each other destroyed out here? You don't see what's going on out here with our people? I mean, you couldn't leave a brother $20,000. You couldn't leave a brother nothing. And this is how sisters be doing. And I know how that feels because I went through that before. Left with nothing. Everything taken from me. I know how that feels. So it's not no thing where you can give an opinion on it, because this happens every day. This happens every day. Where listen, the man is like, listen, hold up, she got my children. I shouldn't have her broke, because if she's broke, my children ain't gonna have nothing. She got my children. That don't make any sense. Does that make any sense? You got sisters who, okay, and I'm not talking about me. People who gets the kids. The sister wants to put him on child support. But it's like, sis, why would you put him on child support? He's already taking care of his kids. Yeah, y'all got something going on together. We all got y'all issues. But he's taking care of the kids. Why do we have to go to the white man for him to solve our issues? And why don't we love each other even to the point as just being a people where we want to see each other not have anything? Even if you're like, listen, I can't stand that person, but you can't stand them to the point to where you want them to be out in the streets homeless. Does that make any sense? So I tell you, boy, we have to learn forgiveness all over, because everything that's coming with the Most High is allowing from the devil with these storms and all these different things. People who are dealing out there, they're going to be taken. And I'm going to tell you, the HIV is at an all-time high. And this is a side topic. This is a whole nother type of storm, spiritual storm. You people out there who still fall into fornication, it's going to come a time where we're like, hold up. We need your blood work for you to get married to this sister. We need your blood work for you to get married to this brother. That's what it's coming down to. People who have a pattern of fornicating out this joint. Because you end up giving this person this 2020 HIV because you dealt with somebody who took it, even though you didn't take it. Now you didn't swap saliva or fluids, and now you like, yeah, I repented, but then now you give something else to somebody else. And let me tell you, you think I'm just talking? I live in a place where it's like #1 in the city. I don't be in that city at all, period. I don't go to that city. So, but let me tell you, it's real out here if you didn't know it. I'm hearing all kind of stories. You can think it's a game if you want to. You're going to get everything you asking for. You're going to get it. All right? So let me tell you, you might not be taking about a physical storm. You could be taking about that storm too. A woman who look like Storm, she going to give you a storm from the X-Men. You done dealt with a mutant. See? Yeah, you go, hey, ooh, she look like Storm. Let me tell you, she about to fill your behind with lightning. Because you wanted a little excitement. I'm just telling y'all. Keep your stuff in your pants. I'm just telling y'all right now. Y'all think, let me tell you, I can't tell you how much this is not a game. Like, this stuff is spreading like wildfires right now. Okay? And then when they come out with the people who didn't take it, They keep coming out with news of people who didn't take it. This thing is not over yet. It ain't over yet. Right? Excuse me. So, I wanted to put those things out there because let me get this really quick. 2 Ezra 15:40. The great and mighty cloud shall rise full of wrath, and storms shall be stirred up, so that they may crush the earth and its inhabitants. Check that out. Check that out. The great and mighty cloud shall rise full of wrath, and the storm shall be stirred up, so that it may crush the earth and its inhabitants. And there shall be fear and trembling on the earth. So, you got clouds of war. You got clouds of weather. Let me tell you, we in all of it. You got, listen, you got nuclear weapon men and women out here who look good, but full of wrath. Ezekiel 13:13. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In my wrath I will unleash a violent wind, and in my anger hailstones and torrents of rain will fall with destructive fury. All right. Let's keep going. Judges 5:20. From the heavens the stars fought. From their courses they fought against Sisera. The river Kishon swept them away. Check that out. So I had to bring that excerpt because it says from the heavens the stars fought. Who are the stars? They are the angels. Let me tell you, the angels be fighting for us all the time. There's going to come a time where they have to fight for us again. Eventually, when Christ comes back, they will turn to their forms of who they're supposed to be. So right now, you have technology that these people are getting from the fallen angels. But once it becomes too unfair, you're going to see the Most High start to intervene for us. And I was going to come a point really quick. Revelations 11:6. This last scripture I'll get, then we're going to get off of here. Like I said, we wasn't going to be on too long. Hour and a half. Revelations 11:6. Right? There we go. The two witnesses, Judah and Israel. Southern kingdom and northern kingdom. So for you Christian, you don't know who the two witnesses are. Your pastor ain't tell you who the two witnesses are. It ain't Moses. It ain't Elias. Okay? It's you have to know who the tribes are. Judah and Israel. Israel means the northern kingdom, and Judah means the southern kingdom. Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, and northern kingdom, the rest of the so-called Hispanics and North American Indians, aboriginals around the world. Okay? Predominantly in these places of North and South America, right? So, let's go down verse 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out their mouth. Like we said with Christ, the law that was given unto fire. And devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Why? Because according to the law, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Whatever you do, that's what's going to happen to you. Okay? These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. Why? Because, right, just like Elijah did, you understand, let me tell you, Christ is over all that now. Christ is over all that. And don't forget, it's not finished yet. There's still a lot of things that have to happen. Okay, so let's read it. And have power. We are his weapons of war and his battle axe. And have power, shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, just like Moses did. Nothing new under the sun, as often as they will or want. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and of tongues of nations shall see their dead bodies in the streets 3.5. And now this is symbolic. Okay. 3.5 days, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, just like the whole earth of all the nations are making merry over our people right now. Okay, because we're captive to them. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on earth. After 3.5 days, the spirit of life of God entered into them, and they stood up on their feet. Because guess what? We were spiritually dead. We were spiritually lost. We were the walking dead. Our everything was taken from us. The knowledge of who we were, that is being dead. That is walking dead, having no purpose. That killed us off. We can't keep families. We don't know what it is to have family. Black women don't even know what a man is anymore. An austere man, they don't even know what that is. They have to get. I'm hearing sisters talking about I got to get with what Kalani said. She said she is what she say she is. She call herself there. She says she likes a queer man more than a regular man, and I wonder why. Because let me tell you, a queer man gonna sit there and listen to you and gossip with you all day. A real man ain't. He'll listen to you to understand you, to help you in reason, and help you to lead you. But you see, they want men that's soft. That's just going to listen to them like that's the homegirl and the girlfriend. All of that killed us off where we couldn't have a proper family. Our heritage, yes, it was from our forefathers' sins, but they went further than they were supposed to. Our enemies went further than they were supposed to, so that killed us off. But now we have risen like that spiritual army, and we are alive now. This is what you're reading right now. All right? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Look at that. Just like our Savior left. And their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain men of 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. Right? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. So it's some of these things that still have to happen. It's some of these things that still have to happen. Our God still will use us. You understand? And when he feels like he needs to use us, when these people come against us, just like he's doing now. But it's stages to warfare. Right now it's not time to battle anything physically. When 144,000 is changed with Christ, they will go to war with Christ against the rest of these nations. So, hey, they have to do what they're doing. God is going to let them do what they're doing. And he's allowing these angels of vengeance to do what they're doing. Yeah, the elite may have their little numbers and days that they do things, because guess what? They need sacrifices now. Their charmers and their wizards, let me tell you, they can't read the stars anymore. They're desperate. They have to sacrifice their own now. Just like that 6 million that's going to happen, you understand, in Israel, in all of that area over there. Let me tell you, this is what they need now. Because it's hard for them to fight against what's returning to be alive from the dead. We are bringing life to the people. Right now, they are the walking dead. When our people are walking around, when you don't know who you are, you don't know where you come from, you're dead and don't know it. In this place that's called spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt, because let me tell you, the same thing that was going on in Egypt, same thing that was going on in Sodom. Our people are unhealthy, don't know who they are, can't keep a family. Let me tell you, we can't keep anything. There's no family reunions. It's nothing going on. The talent we have, we're using our talent and being used. We're using our talent and being used for it. And not receiving proper compensation for it. See? So let me tell you, is there weather modification? Of course. But our guys started it first. And they're being copycats. And they will take who he allows them to take. And guess what? If you're taken in a situation, you better pray that you will follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and have faith and works. I am your host, Elder Rawchaa. Make sure you come to historytimes.org. Make sure you go to KIIYsupplements.com if you want to get right and get healthy. We will be going into that soon on our Hebrew and Bible Academy in a few weeks. Okay, teaching you how to do certain things from the homestead, keeping you guys healthy. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Yes, I have been sending out, I ain't even drink my tea yet because I wanted to finish my other drink. Yes, I have been sending out kefir grains. The website, Lions Homestead, will be up. It's already up, but we're not finished dealing with everything. But we still have been sending out some of these beautiful kefir grains to make sure our people probiotics and gut health is up. And we got a lot of more powerful things that's dropping. So get ready. We got a lot of new items coming on KIISupplements.com. So we got some good news today. So stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. Shalom to you guys. I love you guys. You know what? I might think about getting out there and going run that mile probably. We'll see. Shalom, y'all.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy.